What is up, besties? I'm Jenna, and welcome to Crazy as a Mother podcast, where life happens, best friends help, and coffee does not hurt. I'm sad to say Marissa is getting well rested. She's not feeling very well. Her and her whole household has been under the weather. So she's been in bed today taking care of herself, which is much needed. The woman is a freaking superhero. I don't know how she does it on the daily. So she's getting much needed rest. So it'll just be me flying solo today. A little nervous. I really don't know why, because there's nobody in the room with me. But it's kind of just, it's kind of weird to be talking out loud with nobody here. So I'm going to have to get used to this for the next half hour or so. But I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone had a great weekend. This comes out Monday. It's Sunday night. And it's hot as balls. And the weather needs to decide what it's doing. I'm so glad I left some pairs of shorts out, because it was like 80 degrees, humid AF. Felt like I was in Florida. I already started decorating for Christmas. Yes, I know. I'm one of those people. Yes, I know Thanksgiving exists, and I celebrate it to the best of my ability. I love Thanksgiving. I love stuff in my face, and I love that it's culturally acceptable on that day. But in 2020, when COVID started and the world was going hell in a handbasket, we decorated for Christmas right after Thanksgiving, right after Halloween, the first weekend in November. And I have small kids, and I feel like it just made everything holly jolly. Like, it extended that feeling when Christmas comes around and everyone's happy and loving and all this good shit. I feel like it just extended that. And since 2020, I did it in 2021, and I did it in 2022. And to be honest with you, I'm really not looking forward to this holiday. My dad passed away December 26th of last year, so nobody's fucking looking forward to this holiday. But I don't want to become bitter towards Christmas. I don't think my dad would want me to become bitter towards Christmas. It was his favorite holiday. Christmas Eve, my family gets together, is my favorite day of the year. So I thought about, it was like hardcore extreme. Like, I either wanted to decorate mega early, which I did, or I didn't want to do it at all. But that's not fair to my kids. My kids need that. It's such a magical time. So that is why I decorated early. And to all you early decorators, I feel you, boo. Keep doing you. Don't let the haters get you down, because they don't know what they're talking about. Needless to say, I really need to buy investment in Hobby Lobby, because they have gotten all of my money. Last year I started doing all grunge stuff, and I'm like trying to collect more. So like everything's like Whoville and all this good jazz. So Hobby Lobby's gotten all my freaking money. I luckily saved a few bucks to get coffee this week, but that's kind of about it. But it's definitely worth it. I'm in a great mood. The kids are loving it. They're like, how many more days till Christmas? And they're looking at present ideas. So it's going to be well worth it in the end, I think. And I freaking love it. It's so much fun. So that's what's going on for us this weekend. So pretty exciting. Exciting for the holidays to come. I'm hoping that, with loss will come new just new traditions and new ways to like honor my dad, and we all will figure out a way to keep going. And it's working. The Christmas decorations are working, making everyone feel happy. I love it. So I think I'm gonna keep doing it. I think I'm gonna be one of them people, and I like it, I gotta say. Also, big shout out, rest in peace to Aaron Carter, who didn't love that guy growing up? I'm 31, so in my age range, I feel like everyone had a crush on him, and, he battled a lot of demons. I don't think they released a cause of death, but I did see that his brother posted about it, and he mentioned mental health and addiction and how it's an ugly beast. And I can't imagine what it must be like to battle that in a public eye, because I'm in sobriety, I'm in recovery, as I'm pretty open about it, and I know my struggles, and I'm just your average working mom. I mean, nothing like crazy. I don't have a camera following me or like telling everyone all my mistakes. So I can't imagine what that must have been like. And what he must have felt. And it just breaks my heart to know that he must have felt so much pain, even if that's not what caused his life to be over, but even just feeling it in general, like going through life and, like I said, feeling it but being in the public eye, like I can't imagine. So transitioning a little bit into what to talk about, I wasn't sure what to do, or, like, things to talk about. We had some things lined up, but it's, it's kind of better with two people. But kind of going back to what I said, I'm in recovery, Marissa's not in recovery, and, everything with Aaron Carter and him only being a few years older than me, I don't know, it just had me reflecting. And also, I don't know if I said Nick Carter in the beginning. I meant to say Aaron Carter. Nick Carter passed away. Sorry if I messed that up. I can't remember. But yes, so it got me reflecting on my life and going through my journey of recovery and the program of my choosing that has kept me sober since, and feeling very fortunate to have another day sober. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it ain't pretty when you're in the depths of that nonsense. So I'm very grateful to have what I have, because I know that there's a lot of people struggling that wish that they had what I have. And I need to freaking remember that when my own grateful ass gets in the pity pot. So he just had me reflecting a lot. And I figured today we'll talk about, I know that there's some of my friends that listen, like, the reality is that sobriety overall is a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. I've become a woman of honor, dignity. I'm trustworthy. I'm reliable. I'm all of these things that if you caught me 5 years ago, you couldn't use any of those words to describe me. Truly. I tried to put on the front to the best of my ability, but that wasn't the real deal. And the real deal was ugly. It was bad. It wasn't going places. It was hurting people. It was taking prisoners in my life. It wasn't anything good. And the reality of it is that my life is beautiful today. Absolutely. That being said, life is hard. There's some days that I'm so grateful to do what I have to do in order to get another day sober. And then there's other days like, why do I have to have this? Almost like it's a curse. Like, why am I cursed with this? And, I can't be a normal person. Like, why can't I just be a normal person? And I'd be lying if I say I didn't feel that way some days. Because it's true. And I wanted to be honest about that because I love hearing how much people love sobriety, and I'm glad people do. But I think it's just as important to talk about the hard stuff. Like, talk about the hard days, the struggle days, the days that I wish I was normal. Like, when I see people on Facebook with, like, wine in their hand and, like, they're out at the club and just that tipsy feeling and, like, not having to worry about, like, what medications I'm being prescribed. And I'm like, damn, I miss that. Not giving a shit, But that's the truth of it. And in retrospect, not in retrospect, looking at it as a whole picture, does that weigh out the beauty of it? Absolutely not. Which is why I have another day for over 4.5 years, just going for the next 24 hours. But if you were anything like me, I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but just, I had the signs of it before I ever touched a drink. I had very addictive personality. I was obsessed. I obsessed, so I still do it. I find something to obsess over as a coping mechanism. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. My father also didn't do great with his emotions, and he died a sober man, but before he was sober, he drank to numb it, just to turn it off. And I remember, like, almost seeing the wheel, that hamster wheel in his head, like, when he would start, it would just go down. And I remember being like, damn, like, I want that. And I did it for all the reasons. Like, I did it because, like, the first time I drank, I was 13 and I was with siblings in an older crowd, and I loved it. I was a part of, big people wanted me around. I felt cool. Like, parties, like, my aunts and uncles would come and they would stay late and drink and tell stories, and, like, that's what I wanted. Like, yes, I did the party scenes, I did all that. I'm not saying I didn't, but I loved feeling part of. And it, to me, how I perceived it was alcohol would give me that place. I didn't go to keg parties in high school. I was petrified of my father getting in trouble in early high school, I should say. But I got to drink a beer here and there with my dad, and I got to do all this kind of stuff, and I didn't really have to go press hard if I wanted to have a beer or something. So I remember being 17 and I have these isms. I have this this dark void that I'm already feeling inside that I don't know how to take care of. All I care about is turning it off. And nothing was turning it off until I drank a whole handle of gin. I was 135 pounds. And, my brother found me and they took me to the hospital and they asked me all these questions. And they're like, are you trying to harm yourself? And I'm like, no, I just wanted the pain to stop. And that literally has been my experience all through doing my nonsense. When I went to college, I was getting kicked out of bars. I was the person you could call on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. and I was ready to go. I would skip classes. I would go to classes under the influence. I did all of that because alcohol gave me a purpose. Was it a good purpose? No. But I was in your stories. You wanted me around. You were telling oh, did you see Jen did this? Oh my God, Jen was so funny when she fell and da-da-da-da-da. You were talking about me. And I had a role. And that's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted. And at that time, alcohol is what gave it to me. So I thought. But I kind of had a feeling that, once people around me, even the hardest of partiers could stop if they had a big test. And I'm like, how do you do that? And if I wasn't drinking all the time, I was waiting for the next. Even if it was oh my God, it's a month to another party or something like that. I'm waiting for the next. I'm mentally obsessing over it. I can't wait for it. So it's not really just because it wasn't that all day. I wasn't doing it all day every day. My mind was already there. My mind was married to it at a very young age. So I got a job at a detox center, and I went there drunk one day, and I was oh, this is it. And I didn't get caught, but I was this is my low. And honey boo boo child, let me tell you, that was not my low. Things got worse, and I'm not gonna tell every story, but for those that know what I'm talking about, or even those even if addiction isn't your thing, but just those thoughts, those racing thoughts, the I'm not good enough thoughts, the things that we tell ourselves that we need to slow down, it's just never ending. Even if you can't relate to the drink or other things, I know a lot of people feel those thoughts. So please take that away with you too, that hamster wheel of just, I'm not good enough. What does this person think of me? How do I become more important? I'm worthless. I'm useless. And how do I get that? And my answer was booze, for the most part, amongst other things. So it picked up. It got really bad, where I became 4 days a week, all day, every day, just how my work schedule went. And then I would go to work and just be hurting for those other 3. 3 days booze on, 4 days working. And then things were downhill. They were just downhill. I was living far away from home, and then I found that I was pregnant. And like any rational person, I was like, yes, this baby is going to save my life. I will no longer drink because I'm depressed. I'm not drinking because I'm an alcoholic. I tell myself I'm drinking because I'm depressed. And now that I'm having a baby, I won't be depressed, so now I'll be better. And that's not how it works. I didn't know then, but that's not how it works. This little fetus inside of me could not save 23 years of addictive thoughts, addictive behaviors, and feeling less and low then. And honestly, shame on me for putting all that pressure on a little baby. But I made it through the pregnancy. But again, it was like that countdown in my head. Like, I couldn't wait to give birth so I could just do whatever I wanted. I couldn't wait. because I was sick of answering to a little child. Like, all right, enough now. Like, mommy's ready to have fun. And I didn't breastfeed for that reason, because I didn't want any more restrictions, and I did. And life went bad. I did all the right motions. I got married, I got a house, I had a baby. I did all the things I was supposed to do, but all I did was give myself more freedom. And then I got myself in a lot of trouble, financially, emotionally, relationship. And it got to the point, dudes, where I was just ready to go. I was ready to die, because I was so caught up. I didn't know how to get out. And it was either continue how I was continuing, and I would literally sob and cry as I was pouring the next one or do whatever. And I just wanted to be done. But I didn't know how to be done. So it was either keep doing this or take myself out of the equation. And by the grace of God and one of my supers, I reached out to my mom, who was already sober, and I told her, and she took me to where I got sober through, and I found something that works for me to keep me sober, and I'm very grateful for that. I learned how to work through a lot of the things that I've done. I learned to work through a lot of the people that I've hurt. I learned how to make reconciliation and really mean it, and live by what I say. For the most part, I'm not perfect. And then if I mess up, I'm able to say, hey, I fucked up, and I'm sorry. So taking that into mamahood, we talk about this all the time. Like, I had my son Dalton, who was 2 when I got sober, and then I had twins. I had my twins. I was a little over a year sober by the time they were born. And I'm going to say they're negative things, because they're not negative things. The struggles of taking the role of motherhood and then adding the walk of sobriety on top of that, right? I really get jealous. I have to be honest. I get jealous when I see pictures of moms in big sweatshirts and the leggings, and they're sitting and they're having a cup of wine, and they're just chit-chatting. And I'm sure I'm literally, sometimes if I don't do what I'm supposed to do that day, reach out to another sober person and do the readings that I do and things that I choose to do to stay sober. If I don't do those things, I'm not in the right mindset, which is when I'm literally looking at people on social media and just drooling at seeing them go out and party, or like I said, just sit in the oversized hoodie and the leggings and drinking wine. And I'm like, man, I get really jealous. I get really, really, really jealous. Especially because life just seems to be getting crazier, and that's something that I miss. But the realization, the truth of the matter is, people, I can count on one hand the amount of times that I ever just had a glass or two. So the reality for me is that that's not my reality. I'm not going to just have one or two for a picture and call it a night. And I have to remember that when I get jealous and when I see, when I see moms doing this. Those are the things I have to remind myself of. Another big thing for me is control. I don't know if anybody out there can relate to being in control, but I love it. I love being in control, and despite the 23 years of experience of showing me in the driver's seat doesn't work out well, I still think sometimes it does. And I obsess over the things I can't control. I can't do a goddamn thing about them. And it exerts a lot of energy, right? And it takes away from a lot of things that I should be doing. But so one thing I had to come to terms with when I got sober is I cannot stop myself once I have one. It is a shit show and it's over. So in essence, I had to say, hey, I can't control alcohol. I'm powerless for this. And so I look for ways to flex those muscles in other parts of my life. So it's well, if I can't do it with booze, then I'm going to dominate this and control this and plan this out. And if it doesn't go this way, then it's not going to go well. And that's hard with kids, people. That is so hard with kids to not do that. I want to plan everything. Like, I'm someone that has all their clothes laid out. On Sunday, I lay the clothes out for the week. I'll call and check in how they're doing at school. I flip out about, like, the bullies and stuff like that. And, because my son was having an issue in his classroom. And I just want to, like, keep them in a bubble, right? We all know that feeling of just wanting to keep our kids in a bubble. And it makes me sick that I can't control anything that happens outside of the house. Like, once they leave me for the day, I can't control anything. And I will spend countless hours, countless thoughts, unending energy on these things. And these thoughts, these what ifs, what if this, what if that, and I'm playing out the craziest thought in my head, and I spend so much time on that, and I can't, because it leads me down a bad road mentally and spiritually, that if I don't keep straight, that I'm just going to be back in my old behaviors, and that's speaking for me, and I also can't do that, and if anyone relates to this, like, just sobriety aside, because it's making me absent from what's going on around me, right? Like, I'm not paying attention to what's happening. If my kid's trying to tell me a story, I'm too wrapped up in my head, I'm too stressed, and I'm not here. Like, I'm not with them, I'm not listening, and I want to do that. So that's definitely a big one, and I have to not get on my pity pot. That's another big one too. Because I can. And I can get on my pity pot big time. And if I'm not grounded that day, like, I get a little high off it, if I'm being honest. I get a little high with people like, wow, like, you're doing great. Like, I don't know how you do it. You're so incredible. You're this, you're that. And it's like, it's funny because I don't believe it. Like, I can't tell myself that, which is why I need you to tell me it. Maybe if you keep telling me it till I believe it, and then I'll believe it for myself. So I think that's why I get a little rush. It's like, okay, well, if someone else thinks this about me, then maybe I could think this about me. And that is why I think I said how I said about it. Maybe not like a high per se, but it's like giving me validation to possibly believe that I'm okay as I am. And I hate that. I really do hate that. It's something I really need to work on. Me and Marissa were on the phone earlier today and just had a really good conversation about so many of those things, about, like, just no self-esteem, no self-love, and it's no bueno, people. It's no bueno. You need to have it. I need to have it with or without people's approval, and be okay with it. And I know that once I, like, unlock that door, like, life is gonna just get brighter. So I'm working on it. It's definitely a work in progress. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but it's definitely a work in progress. But the beautiful things about being sober, that stuff aside, is what I need to constantly focus on. One being, like I said, attention. My kids, am I good at perfect at it? Of course not. Like, I talked about those thoughts and all the stuff, and, like, the phone, oh God, the goddamn phone, TikTok, can take away from that. But the time that was spent in pouring something, the time that was spent phased out, the time that was spent rushing them to bed, or rushing Dalton to bed early so I could do what I wanted, that's gone. So I have that time that I wasn't giving before, to be able to do that with my kids. And when we do things now, like, we went to Shady Brook, and, like, I feel myself being present and just trying to, like, mentally take pictures of everything happening, because I'm just so elated and happy and what's going on around me, and seeing my kids smile. And, like, we were running through the sunflower field at Shady Brook. Like, it doesn't get more Hallmark than that, you know what I mean? And, like, it just made me feel so happy. And honestly, like, if 5 years ago I'd have been like, you are taking up my time, I could be doing other funner things instead of doing this. And I would be looking at my watch, and I would be like, man, we need to hurry this up so I can get home, so I can make a stop, so Mommy can have a good time. And that doesn't happen anymore. I get to, like, be a mom and not just, like, have the title but not back it up. And the one, maybe most obvious one, is I don't have any hangovers. No hangovers. I don't wake up, of course I wake up tired as hell, That's way different from a bad hangover. I would either wake up hungover, drunk, or still painfully sick. And I don't do any of that anymore. So I get up early, I work out first thing in the morning. Listen, guys, here's the thing. I have a Beyonce bod, but I don't want to make anybody jelly gel. So I just keep it in. But I swear to God, I do get up and I work out. I do that, so I'm not feeling like crap. I am able to save time at work because I'm not calling out all the time, which is pretty awesome. And another big one too is money, money, money. I'm not going to get into personal details right now, but all I'm going to say is I spend lots of money. Okay? Spend lots of money. And I don't do that anymore. So that's pretty cool. I am able to save. I know how to save now. I can buy things for myself, like if I want to do fun things. So it's pretty awesome. I'm very happy about that. And I'm grateful that, I'm able to put money away for my kids and stuff like that. Because before, honestly, I would just be looking out on me, and my money would be blown, my credit cards would be maxed, just to be able to keep doing what I was doing and to make sure that I had what I needed or whatever. So that's awesome. Like saving for Christmas, like I'm a big tattoo person. I don't buy booze, I get tattoos. So that's obviously like a big one. And honestly, the main takeaway that I am so grateful for is that my children never, ever have to see me in a bad way. My 2-year-old son, thank God, has no memory, has seen me in some disgusting spots. And my children now, it would be nothing. They'll never see me like that, at least just for today. And like that kind of just brings me to tears because I can't believe that it was ever like that, and I never want it to be like that for my kids. So I'm very grateful for all of that, and I know that this was a little more geared towards sobriety, but so alcohol is just one thing, right? Alcohol is one of many things. What I do is I obsess. Like I said earlier, I obsess. So I obsess about my weight. I obsess about my food, one way or the other. I'm an all or nothing type of gal. And so I'll work out 7 days a week, work out an hour a day. Or I don't want to do it at all. I'll cut my calories back crazy, or I'll say F it. And then I hyper-focus. So right now I'm hyper-focused on working out and eating. And I'm trying to teach myself balance. And so you don't have to have a booze problem or this problem to have those thoughts. So, like if you have those thoughts, like, let's talk, man, because it's tough. It's tough to work through those racing thoughts. So I just wanted to, like I said, trying to figure out what to talk about today. And me being in recovery, Marissa not, but she's my spirit animal. I wouldn't be where I am without her. Just something I felt like, and I felt like I needed to talk about it because I needed to be reminded. I needed to be grateful. Like I said, when hearing about Aaron Carter and everything that happened with him, rest in peace, like, it can be bad. Like, I'm so blessed in my life with everything that I have that I forget sometimes how bad it can really be and what type of prison it can be mentally. And I just wanted to talk about it, really, I guess, selfishly, therapeutically, so I could remember what it really is. So when I get them thoughts of like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can't do this or that, because that's the reality of it. The reality of it is I'm not normal, and it's okay. So when I think, like, I see the girls drinking the wine, I'm like, damn, like bottomless mimosas and stuff like that. That's not Jenna's reality. Jenna's reality is you probably find me passed out on the bathroom floor by noon. And I don't want that for my life anymore. I don't want that for my kids. So by the grace of God, for today, they'll never see me like that. But I need to start focusing on the positive things of life. Because if I'm being honest with you folks, I've just been like a woe is me mood. And I'm not saying, here's what I think is important to remember, is that it's okay to acknowledge what you're doing is hard. My therapist taught me this. It's okay to acknowledge that there are people in the world that cannot do what you do. And it's okay to think that. But then what are you going to do with it? Right? Like if you let it blow up to your head or you get in your pity pot, it's not solving anything. But it is okay to acknowledge that. Like, yeah, you're fucking awesome. Yeah, there's people that would choose not to do what you're doing. And yes, there's people that would fail and just give up. But you're not. You're not. And that's sick. Be proud of that. Own that shit. And take that pride with you, a healthy pride, and just keep going. Because you can do it. You're capable of it. I'm capable of it. I'm capable of raising these 3 kids when it doesn't feel like I can do it. Because let me tell you, it feels like with these 3-year-olds, man. Holy shnikes. I don't know how we're going to get through the next 24 hours, let alone until they're 18. But you're doing hard stuff. I'm doing hard stuff. Marissa's doing hard stuff. And we're slaying it. It might not feel like it, but we're slaying the game. We're doing things that people couldn't do. And what's even more important to remember is we're living lives that people wish that they were living. And I need to remember that I'm walking in a pair of shoes that someone right now is praying for. And I am a very, very, very lucky and blessed woman. You guys are very lucky and blessed. And if it doesn't feel like that, just try and look and find it. Because I promise you, you are one step ahead of someone else. Even if it doesn't feel like it. So, I guess this might be the first episode with no dad joke because I have nobody to laugh at my jokes. So we'll be sure to do that next time. But guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for listening. I hope, I feel like this was a little more heavy, a little more serious. But, it's a different vibe without Marissa here. And I missed her, but she'll be back next week. But I love you guys so much. We finally got enough followers on YouTube to have our own handle at Crazy as a Mother Podcast, which is freaking awesome. Make sure you download Spotify, Amazon, Apple, YouTube. Get us on Instagram and TikTok. Listen to me. I am learning how to do different clips on TikTok. I'm going to be famous. Mark my words. I will autograph when you're ready. All right? I love you, besties. Thank you so much for joining the crazy. See you next time.